This is a question that I get asked a lot, and it's a very, very common concern or worry for parents, that are they getting enough, are they eating too much, and how much is too much? And in actual fact, there are no set portion size guidelines for babies during the weaning process. Every baby is different, and you probably know this already because we quite naturally compare our babies to friends' babies or families' babies. And every day will be different as well for your baby in terms of their appetite. So actually, the key advice here is to feed to appetite. If your baby is looking interested in the food, they might be leaning in, they've got a mouth wide open, or they're signalling that they want the food in some way, then carry on feeding them. If they are starting to show signs that they have had enough, and that might be by clamping their mouth shut, or turning their head away from the spoon, or sort of arching backwards, and as they get older, perhaps pushing the food away slightly, or becoming quite frustrated or anxious with the mealtime, that's the time to try and stop and not push them or coerce them into eating more than what they are trying to tell you. So all of those signs are the way that your baby is trying to communicate with you. And what's really helpful and what will really kind of reassure your baby is if we listen to those signs of communication. Babies have centres, and in fact children and adults too, we all have kind of centres in our brain which are receptors and communicate really well with our gut and our digestive system. And as a young infant, those communication pathways are really well in tune. So babies' brains know how much food is in their tummy, they know what their energy requirements are for that day, and therefore when that tummy is full or they've had enough energy for that day or for that mealtime, they will send messages to the brain, and that's where you will start to get these signs of fullness, such as the clamping the mouth shut and turning the head away. So what's really important for the parents and the carers is to make sure that we are looking out for those signs and that we are stopping at that point. What tends to happen sometimes, particularly if they haven't eaten much and we've spent a long time preparing this delicious food for them, we want them to eat a little bit more, we want them to grow really well, we want them to sleep really well. So we try and push them or coerce them to take a few more spoonfuls. And actually what we're really doing there is we're teaching them to override what their natural satiety, what their natural kind of fullness and appetite is telling their bodies. So if we can, as frustrating as it may be for us sometimes, it's really important to look out for those signs and to stop when you see them. And sometimes, unfortunately, that does mean that they may have only taken a few mouthfuls and then we need to stop. But that's perfectly normal too for babies. They tend to regulate their appetite more over a course of a few weeks rather than meal by meal or day by day. So it's not unusual for your baby to perhaps go 3 or 4 days or even a whole week eating very, very little. And that could be down to all sorts of reasons, whether it's teething, illness, tiredness, just their general mood, going through a bit of a developmental stage. There are lots of things that will affect a baby's appetite. And so it's normal for them to eat very, very small amounts for a period of time. And then the following week, they will really make up for that. And sometimes parents are amazed kind of how much they are eating the following week to make up for it. So it's important to expect that natural change, that natural fluctuation in their appetite. And my advice is really just to kind of follow your baby's signs, let them lead you, let them guide you in terms of how much food they're wanting to eat at that particular meal time, and try not to push them too much.